So my name is Zein, for anybody who doesn't know me, and I'm going to talk about a fun thing that I added to my PhD journey is I added a set of 4 Paws, you could say, to my journey. I have done the PhD, this PhD Live conference for a while, so you might have seen me before present about certain topics. But today, like I said, I'm going to be talking about adding Paws to your PhD journey. For people who don't know me, hi, I'm Zein. I'm a fourth-year PhD researcher at the Central for Cultural Policy Research, and my research is in disability representation in Jordanian media. I'm visually impaired, and I'm a guide dog user. So if you have seen me around campus, you will know I am accompanied by a furry creature, or as I can say, my furry companion. This is a picture I took last year when I went back home to Jordan. It is me gazing at the treasury in Petra. And a fun fact about myself, just like Angelina, I am obsessed with walking, and I actually do walking marathons. I have done the Kilt Walk now for 3 years. I'm doing another one this year in Aberdeen. My longest Kilt Walk was 22 miles. So I walked from Glasgow Green all the way to Balloch for charity. In 2020, when I first moved to Glasgow, I decided I wanted to apply for a guide dog. I knew that I love to travel. I'm an adventurer. I love to walk. And I thought that I needed more help in becoming independent. So I decided to, go through the process of applying for a guide dog. You go through certain steps when you're applying. You have guide dogs come to meet you. They actually look at the ways in which you walk. If you're a cane user, that's very important. I've been a cane user now for 13 years. And they actually then come with a prospect guide dog. So might be the guide dog that you're actually matched with, or it might be just to see how you handle using a harness. And so I was then put on the waiting list, and in August of 2022, I got matched with my own guide dog, my very first guide dog. And that's a very important thing for me because I'm also a dog lover. So if you have seen me, then you have met my guide dog. I got matched with Mitch. He's a 3-year-old fox-colored golden retriever, and he sheds a lot of hair. So if you have seen, you'll see that he has a very long coat. And in November of 2022, we qualified as a pair. I have been with Mitch, so we've been a guide dog team for 1 year and 3 months. And throughout this, it had me thinking that I had to, change things in my PhD, change things in my journey. And this is what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to share how I had to shift things around to make sure that my PhD journey was not actually hindered by this, but instead it gained more opportunities along the way. So I had to learn a lot of things. And just like with the PhD journey, you go through a lot of challenges and a lot of ups and downs, as everybody has spoken throughout the presentations. So I wanted to share some of the things that I learned along the way. I love mind maps, and I thought, what better way to show you how I think and how I visualize things, even though I'm visually impaired, is to share a mind map. And along my presentation, you're going to see that there are some things that you can also incorporate into your own PhD journey. For starters, I was told that I needed to have a constant routine. When you have a guide dog, they need a routine. You need to basically know when to wake up, when you need to, take them out, when they need to eat. And I started to have to shift my own journey into not only taking care of myself, but also taking care of a 3-year-old hyper golden retriever who runs around manically and does zoomies. And I also just needed to think about, okay, how am I supposed to take care of my own health, my own well-being, but also the health and well-being of my guide dog? So I basically had to shift my whole routine. So I don't sleep in a lot now because I have to wake up early. So that's a great thing if you are a workaholic such as myself. I love to work and I'm passionate about my work. So my routine is from 8 in the morning all the way to 5 p.m. Basically, I go to uni, Mitch is with me. We have a set routine. So we have a route that we've trained on that he basically guides me. Sometimes I don't even remember where I'm going, so he does everything. He guides me, and actually now he's the one who has memorized the arc where I work. It is a maze there, so there's a lot of doors, so he knows where to go. He leads me straight to my desk through the use of commands. So basically, as well, along the way, I had to make sure that I wasn't getting tired, because not only are you working on your PhD, you also have responsibility. So I needed to make sure that he was groomed properly. I had to make sure that he, went to the vet. So these are things that I had to incorporate. But also I wanted to give time for myself to write and to work on my PhD. So time management is important. Organization is important. And seem as if I love to be organized and I always plan things. I have a diary. I'm very old school, so I have notes everywhere and I have to remind myself of things. I knew that this was going to help me when I come to focusing on my deadlines as well. Second thing I had to make sure is breaks. We are human. We need time off for ourselves. We need to relax. So I need to take breaks for myself, but also for Mitch because he needs to run. Not only is he a working dog, he also needs to have his own life. He needs to run around, act like a normal dog. And so during my work routine, I basically give an hour in the morning, 3 times a week, for him to run in Kelvin Grove. So if anybody wants to take time off and just go for a walk, you're welcome to join us. We're always in Kelvin Grove for 3 times a week, and you can run, you can throw a ball. Mitch loves tennis balls. And so this is something that I incorporated solely into my last years of my PhD, because at the beginning of my PhD, I would work constantly 24/7. And what happened is at the end, I burnt out. And this is not a fun experience. You feel fatigued. I lost my appetite. I felt sick. It's not great. So taking time off is really good. And I feel like having Mitch by my side, it actually motivated me to take time off, to think of my mind, body, and soul, which is something very important when you want to move forward. Thirdly, what I really started to see is that I had more time to go and explore Scotland. Like Angelina said, Scotland is beautiful. You should go see it, go and explore. And with Mitch, I was able to go to Isle of Skye. We were able to go around different places that I felt would be dangerous for me to walk on my own. Having Mitch by my side, I'm able to walk slowly, follow the harness's lead. And that actually gave me the opportunity to see many places. In our first year as a pair, as a team, we were able to not only go to different places, but we actually went to 28 places around the UK, something I would have never been able to do on my own. And you get to see so many different places that you don't even think about. So whenever I have to take Mitch out for a walk, I need to make sure that water that he's playing in, because he loves to swim, doesn't have blue algae, because that's dangerous for dogs. I had to make sure that where I'm walking, it was safe. But while doing that, I started to forget about my PhD. I started to switch off. And so getting that chance to go and look at new places and switching off is so great, because when you come back to your PhD, you can then think about it with an open brain and different viewpoints. And that's very, very important. And the last thing I realized after shifting my whole PhD journey is I got a friend for life, or as I like to call, an angel wrapped in fur. When you have a dog by your side, they are loyal. They will love you unconditionally. When you're sick, when you're tired, when you basically step on their tail because you don't see, they won't say anything, but they will love you no matter what. And I felt, and you can feel it, like a guide dog and their owner has such a strong bond that you will see it. A lot of people who are my friends and have seen that bond will know that this is a special bond, because he's glued to my side. The one thing I really miss about not having Mitch by my side is my personal space, but that's something I can gain later on in the future. So, like I said, things I've learned along the way, it is not a walk in the park. Having a dog, things will go wrong. Last year, Mitch fell very sick, where I had to take him to the emergency vet, all because he ate something from the park. He picked it up and it wasn't good for him. And at that moment, I thought I was going to lose him. I lost his heartbeat. I had to run. Well, I felt anxiety. I felt fear. I even cried, something I never thought I would do. And well, because I wasn't paying attention when he ran during his free run and I didn't see him. So guide dogs were a bell for you to hear. I couldn't hear that bell, and my indication was like, okay, I need to call him back, and he wouldn't come back quickly. But after that, everything is good. But things will go wrong, and that is something I had to learn. Like, I had to stop being hard on myself and just enjoy this process. Like I said, things are about to go wrong. Mitch is a retriever, so he'll pick anything off the floor. He has actually also stolen a 200-gram block of cheese from a table without me looking, which is something that I wish he didn't do, but that's really, really bad. You're going to have to sacrifice things, and this is something I've learned. So if I leave Mitch at home for a bit, I know that I can go out to a party and stay out till 2 a.m. I have to come back after a certain time, because you cannot leave a dog for long periods of time. Boundaries are about to be broken. So this is something that I learned not only with having Mitch, but also in your PhD. When I say boundaries, oh, I do apologize. You are going to hear Mitch dream barking, so I do apologize. Basically, boundaries are going to be broken. And that means that if you are doing something and you basically know that you can go above these boundaries, above these challenges, because you know you're going to overcome them, then that's great. But there is a limit. Do not feel like you're going to push yourself to the point of when you're going to basically burn out. And this is something I learned while taking care of Mitch, but also doing my PhD. There are boundaries, you can break them, but there is a limit. When your gut is telling you something is wrong, follow that gut feeling. Also have fun. I've had a joy having Mitch around me, but also I've been able to incorporate that joy into my PhD because knowing that, your PhD is for 4 years, maybe 5, maybe more, depending on how long you want to do it. It takes time. It takes effort. It is not a race. It is a marathon. Just enjoy the journey. Just some takeaway points. Yeah, this is me and Mitch at Loch Lomond. Like I said, there's going to be a huge shift to my PhD journey. It did happen to the point where I had to also take suspension of studies. Suspension is a scary word. Don't be afraid. It's just stopping the clock. I had to stop the clock for a month just to train with Mitch because training with Mitch is like as if I've added a second PhD to my journey because there's a lot of commands, a lot of rules, a lot of things you can and can't do, which kind of seems kind of familiar when you're doing a PhD because there are rules and regulations you have to follow, even though it is your own project. Try again equals write and write again. When you're writing your chapters, you are going to write drafts and then you're going to rewrite them and edit. And this is something I had to do from the beginning of my PhD because I'm in arts and humanities and we write from the beginning. But it's the same thing I had to do with taking care of Mitch and learning and being a guide dog user. I had to try again, and things do go wrong. For example, the first time I fed Mitch, I didn't give him the right amount of food because my scale did not give me the right measurements and because of my vision. And this happens. And I started to feel guilty. When you write a chapter and sometimes it isn't where your supervisors want it to be, they are going to give you a lot of notes. And sometimes you are going to feel down. Just know that you are doing your best and they will tell you to keep on writing and writing again. Try again. This is what I had to do. I was like, okay, I didn't do well this time. I'm going to do better the next time. Don't let it discourage you. Let it fuel you, be the fire and the passion in your belly so you can go forward. Like I said, constant routine is important. When you have a routine, you're going to follow it. And that's going to actually give you some comfort when you're writing. It gave me comfort when I was writing. And it's the same when I was training with Mitch and the same when we walk. When he's on a constant routine, he is doing what he needs to do. Always take breaks. I always take breaks. I have to take breaks. And when I don't take breaks, Mitch has this thing where he starts to boop me with his nose, which is an indication for me that I need to get out of my seat and do something else. If he sees me on the computer for long periods of time, he has this thing where he has to push me off the chair. And he has done that because he's a big dog. And he tells me, all right, Mom, it's time for you to do something different. So I end up throwing a ball, end up going for a walk. And there's a new adventure on the horizon. So there's a lot of things you can do outside of your office, outside your house. So do it. Go out, enjoy, and have fun. And you're not alone. As you've seen here in this PhD life, we're all students. We're all doing PhDs or masters. So it's always nice to connect. And these events do that. So I do hope that through my journey, you've learned something. And I'm happy to always share more about my journey and talk to you guys. Also, if you do see Mitch and I on campus, do say hi. But please be respectful when he's in harness because you cannot distract him. Thank you.